Ex-son-in-law here. Today we're going to put on an RPM gauge on the old fishing boat. The reason we're going to do this is the past few fishing trips, with the boat being loaded down, I'm not really getting the appropriate speed out of my boat. So with that being said, I'm going to put on this little bitty RPM gauge, and how it works is that we're going to wrap this around a spark plug, and then we're going to set it to my motor type. I will show you the installation of this, and after that I'll be able to accurately judge what my engine RPMs are, and with that knowledge I'm going to be able to identify if I need to go up in pitch or down in pitch for my propeller for the application that I have. Now, I'm not going to be able to do a water test today. The only way to accurately get the information needed is going to be to have your boat loaded down with people, supplies, equipment, fishing rods, everything. Because if you can't recreate the scenario when you typically go fishing, you're not really going to benefit a whole lot out of this. So here in a moment, we're going to install this little RPM gauge. We'll test it and make sure it's accurate and ready to work. I will put a link in the description box below on this. This is less than $15 on Amazon. I think it's going to be a fairly easy installation. And, well, let's get to it. So, some of the supplies that you're going to need will be the part itself, instructions, just so you know exactly what setting to be on. These are typically fairly easy to understand, but after looking over this, let's see if I can get it in focus. It doesn't tell you 2-stroke, 1-cylinder, 4-stroke, 4-cylinder, or anything of that nature. It goes off revolutions of the engine. So display number 1 is going to be spark plug that fires twice per revolution. In our case, it's going to be once per revolution. Being a 2-stroke, the spark plug is going to fire once every time it goes around. But if you do have any questions or concerns on it, you can always Google this information if you need be. Next, you're going to need some zip ties and some wire cutters. Alright, for this today, on the old John boat, this is my 1998 Yamaha 40 2-stroke. And I'm going to be doing it on this bottom spark plug, just so that the easy routing coming down this, I can come out and not interfere with any of my selectors or wiring. I can just kind of follow existing wiring. So this is going to make this a little bit easier. Alright, so the first things first is to unwrap your wire. Once you get your wire unwrapped, next thing you want to do is figure out where you're going to mount this thing. For me, it doesn't have to be anywhere specific because it's not going to be on this boat forever. So I'm going to mount it somewhere right here in the back. Just somewhere that I can tie it off with some zip ties and take it off when need be. This is really just to find out what pitch prop is going to work best in my application. So next we're going to run the wire and then mount it up. Alright, so when it comes down to the wiring and how you're going to route it, for my case on this 40 Yamaha, there are some plugs here that are something you can pop out easily with a screwdriver. Don't lose them. You can put them back in once you're done doing this. And for my case, I'm just going to slip it down through here. And then we're going to run it all the way down here and then wrap it around the spark plug wire, and we'll get it there. Alright, now once you get the end of your wire down here, in the book it recommends about 3 or 4 good wraps around this spark plug wire, but I'm going to go a little bit more than that. The main thing is you do not want it to overlap itself, crisscross, so to speak. So easiest thing to do is catch it right here in one of these loops and then just slowly wrap it around like. But again, you want it to be tight and you do not want it to crisscross. And once you get it to where you got a little bit of length here on the outside, pull them tight, and then we're going to take some zip ties, and then we're going to make sure, again, not crossed, but adequately around this wire. And we'll just zip tie these two together and we should be good. Alright, once you get your zip tie on there, take your wire cutters and trim off that excess zip tie. Then make sure that it's not going to interfere with anything when it comes to putting back on top of your motor. And then go back down once it's mounted up, go back down and make sure that you do not have anything like this happening where it's crisscrossing going back to the controller. So you're going to want to take all that slack out and then be mindful of the routing so that it doesn't rub up against anything or get caught up on any mechanical objects. Sorry about the camera work, guys. I'm still fairly new to this and I'm just trying to, you know, give out some good information as still having my hands free. So please excuse my chest rig. Alright, next thing to do is mount the controller. Now on this controller, it says it has a lithium ion battery down inside here. And this little pull tab is to be pulled so that it can be activated. See? Once that's out, the display is going to start running its paces. Now it's going to turn itself off and it will be activated whenever the engine's activated. This also has a service timer on it so that if you need an hour meter or you just like to know how many hours, especially for a new engine that it's been running, this will be a good option as well. I'm strictly using it just for the RPM, but this can be used on weed eaters, anything, any small motor, anything that you may just need to know the RPMs on. Little kids dirt bikes, little kid four-wheelers. You know, it's not strictly for marine use. It is waterproof, but it doesn't have to be, you know, just boat related. So let's get this mounted up, and I think we're just gonna put it right here on some more zip ties since this is only temporary. Alright, so there's a couple zip ties right here already. We're just going to loop this in, put it in through this zip tie, get it, and this way it'll be out of my way. It's not going to be interfering on a fishing trip or anything, but it's going to give me the right amount of information to make a good decision on repropping my boat. You're going to get the overall benefits of saving fuel, possibly saving time, planing out better, and you're not going to have to stress on the guesswork of just buying a propeller off Amazon or going to your local boat store and not having an informed decision. Each one of these motors have a dedicated RPM range for them. My case is about 4,500 to 5,500 wide open throttle RPMs. That means you're hammered down, and if you exceed 5,500 RPMs, then you're going outside the spec of this engine. But if you're below the 45, even 5, you may not be getting the full potential out of your boat. So getting it closer to that maximum, or even a happy middle. But the worst part about it is if you are below the 4,500, you're going to prematurely wear out this engine. And that's going to end up becoming a very hefty maintenance bill in the long run. We're going to do some more to this engine. I'm going to show y'all how to easily adjust and tune your carburetors. And there you have it. An easily placed RPM gauge that's going to give you all the necessary information in order to make an informed decision on picking the right prop for your boat. A lot of these smaller motors and even these John boats don't always come with a speedometer, and definitely not all of them come with an RPM gauge. So having this availability of getting the required information without having to spend a lot of money and the easy installation definitely makes it worth less than 15 bucks. And the easy installation is just a good way to kind of have something to put your hands on and do something new. Anyways, this is the ex-son-in-law on his first YouTube tutorial. So hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy.